All right, we got a horse. And I hear he's kind of like a teenage stud. So, how many teenage boys we got in here? Oh, good. We got some that are most of them won't even raise their hand because they already know they're in trouble. It's like, I don't even want to identify with being a teenage stud, but it's beautiful because what it is, it's a young man that's got testosterone going through his system and it's done brain damage, and they're trying to figure out what to do next. And so this is actually a stud horse, so meaning he still has his parts and testosterone, and he's just trying to figure out what to do with it. So I haven't met him before. He comes from a local ranch here, and so this will be our first time meeting each other. Hi. What he doesn't know is that I know something that he doesn't know, and that he's been set up, actually selected. Bashful, are you? Hi. So that's his job, is to come check me out. And he was hand selected today, not because he decided to, but because someone else decided. And he's going to be given an opportunity today to learn something about himself that he didn't know was true, because up until this day, so what did he say to me? Anybody know? He says, "Come on over here, son." Yeah. So it's all attitude, and it's okay, because this is his nature. It's what makes him powerful, and in the herd and in the wild, it's going to be really important that he knows how to use those feet to fight off predators, and that he shows his strength. But what he's learning really quickly here is that there's another powerful force in the pen with him. What he doesn't know is that I'm not going to take his power away from him to demonstrate my power. And in the nature, or in the world, and in the culture that we've built up, it's almost like there's only room for one powerful person to be present at one time. And we lead that way to where everybody's supposed to be subservient to us. Because he's a stud, he doesn't really understand a lot of things that other more timid animals would understand. But all this movement is just that I'm demonstrating to him that I'm here, and that he needs to give his attention to me. I'm not here to manipulate him or control him, but through invitations, he's come to a spot where he's going to get to decide who he wants to be. And he's going to keep running and avoiding me, or he's going to do this and decide that I need to find out what this is all about, because something powerful just walked into a ring with me, and I'm super curious about him. That wasn't just turning towards me, that was a huge sign. And we're gonna go the other direction for a minute, but good job, son. We've got a Bible and it tells stories, lots of stories of this long pursuit of God and his desire to interact with humanity. And we've got a lot of religions that have formed up over the thousands of years that make it to where people have needed something to believe in. And so they've come up with all sorts of really intricate philosophies and ways of believing and religions. And even the truth of this God of provision that would rescue people and deliver them. They even turned that into a religion and into a way of controlling people and a philosophy, and something that the way it was put in the Bible is that they had a form of godliness, but they denied the power that was in it. They thought it was just a belief system. They thought it was just a religion. It was something to believe in. They didn't realize that there's actually a God that wants to have interaction with and oneness with the people that he created. That this was so intimate, so personal, that it was like the first Adam and Eve, that they were a people that were created, put into a perfect scenario, and had such oneness and connection with God himself that they would literally hang out together. And that wasn't enough. And just because of man's rebellion and a nature that makes it to where I just want to be free, I don't want anybody to tell me what to do, I'd actually rather be the one that's in charge. The problem is it made it to where we were stiff-necked people. We were hard in our hearts. We didn't understand leadership. We didn't trust the love of God. It wasn't good enough. We wanted to do it our own way. And that went on for thousands of years. And it's like, if we're gonna tell a story, let's tell the story of God and let's find out where we are in the context of God's story. Because he just wouldn't give up on us. And he finally, like if you want to put an exclamation point on how much I love you, he's like, I'm gonna come and I'm gonna make myself like you in every way, and I'm gonna let myself be subjected to and tempted by everything that you're being tempted by. I'm actually going to yield my authority. He just bit me. That was so rude. Teenagers. I know. I don't know what to say about it other than it will actually make it to where you and I are gonna have a hard time being close. Like, that's all on your side, but I'm just saying, I don't like being bit. By horses. Or dogs. There's this one special lady in Idaho. Yeah. So Jesus came and he did this crazy thing to where I'm going to become one of us. And then he showed us how to do life and showed us what a whole man looks like, that he had the power of the universe. And this isn't like a comic story. Why? This is the reality. This is where all the fairy tales come from. This is where superhero stories come from, is it's actually the reality of God, the creator of heaven and earth, the one that we look into the stars and we're like, that goes on forever. And science can't explain it. That we're trying. And I'm really proud of what scientists are doing, but they're not going to be able to they're not going to be able to come to a conclusion. They're going to have to settle somewhere outside of time, outside of space, that the creator of all of it calls you and I his friends. And he makes it to where we're free enough that we can resist him or we can love him. And I don't know what kind of God would create something that he loves the way he loves us and then give me the ability to hurt him. Like he actually made it to where we could hurt him with the way that we do life. Speaking of which, you're bigger than me. It hurts if you kick me. It hurts if you bite me. But Jesus came and he modeled what it looks like to be a whole man. If you want to see what masculinity is, how much power he had and what he chose to do with the power that he had, and how it is that he empowered the people around him, and he made it to where everybody around him knows how to be loved and to be safe and to be provided for. Good boy. I'm not using my power to control him. I'm not going to put him in a place where he doesn't have a choice anymore. He's got all sorts of options right now. And I've got battle wounds to prove that when they choose, they can do whatever they want to me. But what he wants to do is figure this out. Who am I, and why is it that somebody that has power isn't hurting me or punishing me? Why is it that this guy's not running me off and he's actually wanting to be close to me? He already knows he's not supposed to do it. Did you notice that? I don't have to convince him. That things aren't all right. All I'm going to do is make sure that he knows that I love you and I'm not going to quit on you. And I'm not going to make you do it. That every invitation I give you is going to be a brand new opportunity for you to decide if you want to be alive or if you want to keep going the direction you're going. And if you want to go the direction that you're going, you can just keep on going. You're not locked in this place. And if Jesus modeled what it looked like to be whole, and then he made it to where he would pray a prayer like this, which I think we ought to really take serious. Father, I pray that they would become one the way you and I are one. And that we would become one with him in such a degree that we know what it's like to become one with each other. Yes, sir. And if that was his prayer, then why we held hands matters. Because we all have our own individual lives and things to steward and opportunities to deal with and wounds to get healed over. But we were designed to become one with a God that we don't actually fully understand. That is nothing but power and love. That Jesus showed us that power could be just an expression of love. And why man wants power is because we were designed to carry it. We're going to have to decide what we're going to do with our strength, and if we're going to yield it to the one that is the giver of life, or we're going to use it to serve our own needs. It's the reason why he said that everyone has sinned and fallen short of God's glory, that we've all got the same problem and we all have the same solution. That's a good boy. That's all just playful. He's already made his decision. This is what he wants. I don't know what being born again looks like to you, but he was one thing a moment ago. He's something entirely different now. Because not only am I one with him, but I can develop such a oneness with him that literally my thoughts become his thoughts. I just changed the direction for him to help him start going the other way. It wasn't just a change in direction, it was the other way. We've all tried it our way. And maybe you've even used Christianity as a form of godliness, a philosophy, a religion. And it is a religion. But if that's what it is to you, then I think you're missing out on the intimacy, the beauty, the power, the wholeness that comes from on this one that we read about and we teach about and the one that we study about and we believe. Realize that he actually designed us to have an encounter with him to where we're actually carrying the same spirit that rose him from the dead. I don't know how to wrap my mind around that. But if the same power that rose Jesus from the dead is now inside of me, then what is it that I'm going to do with that? How am I going to demonstrate power in love? He's still biting me. Teenagers. It's almost terrifying to me to realize the influence that I have. There's a woman that I fell in love with back before I knew what love was, that I've actually been given charge over stewardship of leading of this woman, that I manipulated and I controlled and I used my force in my own ways to make it to where our life best suited me. I've got 3 sons, one of which is here tonight, this morning. Is it tonight? Dang, I said I was married 30 days at the first service. That'll go over well at home. I just totally forgot what I was talking about. If you know it, say it. My son, oh yeah, dang it. I'm telling y'all that I know what it's like to have authority and to misuse it and to see the damage that it's done. But I also know this power that God has given me and the ability to repent and to go back and to bring healing to wounds that I inflicted and find that there's other wounds that I can help bring healing to also that I didn't even inflict. That this is what we get to be as men, as people that aren't using our leadership so that we can bully people around and say that we're better. We're actually using our leadership to make it to where the people around us are more powerful. Talk about a paradigm shift for me, to think that that's what my strength was for. And I used it to serve my own needs. He and I are just going to have a moment, and you guys can watch, you can close your eyes, you can do whatever. But Austin and I are just, I think all we're supposed to do right now is just worship, because what I'm saying is true. And it's so true that it's the only truth, and it's the thing that matters the most. And it's the one thing that we can't leave here without reckoning with. We're going to have to figure out what to do with this reality. If this is the goodness of God, if this is his grace and his power and his love coming into a room and making it to where There's an opportunity for every one of us to know what it's like to be healed and loved and whole and forgiven. Get your wits about you. Understand the moment we're in.
Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and in the light of his face. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. You're wonderful to me. You're wonderful to me. I want to see you.
Jesus. He wanted to be free. And he was stuck in a pattern that made it to where his freedom, he was stealing his own freedom. That his life was really condemned. And some people don't see a horse walking behind fences as condemned, but when you realize what they're capable of, the gifting that's inside of him, it's not just potential. It's way more than that. It's the reason for living. He wasn't just going to miss out on what he can do in life. He was going to miss out on what he could be. There's no other animal like him. He's unique and he's special. There's something that he can be that makes it to where he's going to be his own contribution to what it looks like to be truly free. Jesus. There was things that Jesus said to his disciples, and he said that you're not actually going to be able to bear this truth right now. He waited for an appointed time. He made it to where there was going to be something about this Jesus that we worship, that he's not the Jesus that's stuck on a cross. He's the Jesus that actually came again, resurrected, defeated hell and death and sin. And then he said, it's going to be better that I go away, because when I go away, I'm going to send my Spirit. And then he'll lead us into all truth. That there's things that we don't even have English language words to express. We don't have the vocabulary. We can use the vocabulary given to us to try to express things, but when I tell you that I love my wife, I don't know how to describe that to you. I can't put words to that. I can give you lots of different words, but I can't fully express it. When I tell you the first time I saw my son, my firstborn, I didn't know that I could love like that. I don't know what happened inside of me. I can't explain it to you. All I know is that I was one thing before I had him, and I was something else after I had him, because now I'm a dad. And so, when I tell you that there's the God that created everything, that it matters to him, that you understand this, that I can't put it in words. I can't describe to this horse any of this. All I can do is present myself so he can encounter it. And that this is the offer of heaven. This is the reason that Jesus said it was worth it, so that you and I would have access to know what it's like to be loved so completely, so undeniably, so fully, that we're seen and we're known and we're understood, and he's not wagging his head in shame over the fact that we just can't seem to get it right. He wants you to know his love, and when you do, it changes who you are. You can't be the same. Because when he told us to pray and he said, our Father, I don't know that we'll let Pastor clean up this mess. I don't know that that's a gender specific cry. I know it is a role of a father's heart towards a son. He had to pick one. But mothers, you understand what I'm saying. I can see tears in your eyes even as I speak of it. That the maternal heart of God being poured out on humanity. But he said when we pray our Father, and what a father wants is he wants to have sons and daughters. It's his treasure. It's It's what he said, for the joy that was set before him, that he endured the cross. We need to give you a chew toy. Saddle him. I'm going to give him a gift, and I think it's important that along with this adoption of sons, the offer that's being presented to you today, because every one of you are going to get an offer today. Do you want to be a son? Do you want to be a daughter of God? And when someone asks who you are, that's what you say. I'm God's son. I'm God's daughter. That's just who I am. It's what I was created to be. It's what I'm designed for. Everything that I do is out of that. But the beauty in that is that dads come bearing gifts. And Jesus came bearing gifts. And we'll let this saddle represent a gift, because it's going to be something that he's going to be able to use to love people and to serve people better. We kind of learned with him that it seems like we might as well just go for it. Oh. That was my fault. I'm sorry. He figured if he can chew on me, he can chew on Britain too. Uncomfortable, weird, never had anything on him. It was one thing for me to sit on him, but it's something else to have something snugged up around him. And in some ways, it can almost feel claustrophobic to him, because he's never had anything strapped to him. So this isn't a good time to be mean to him or punish him. Britton's trying to keep him from biting me and him, but we both understand that this is hard for him. It's not painful. It's just hard. And there's a difference. Like we love him too much to not be honest with him, but it's going to be uncomfortable for him to deal with some new truths. But the reason I would give him a gift is because I know that there's something that he's going to have in his near future that's going to make it to where he goes from here. He's going to be able to carry things and do things. Okay. I'm keeping him on this lead because if he was to keep bucking, I would want to help him find his way back to me as quick as possible. I don't want him to stay separate, and I don't want him to, it's okay that he's bucking because he's trying to figure out how to get this thing off his back. I don't blame him. going to be amazing what you do, son. You're going to get so used to this to where you're actually going to crave it. To when the gifts and the power comes on you and you realize that this is the thing that's going to help you change the world, that your ability to carry my presence is what's going to make it to where the way you view yourself and the way you view the world around you is going to change forever. And I want him to think about it, because I think we come to times in our walk with Jesus where it's like, man, I don't know if I signed up for this. This is too hard. What happened to all the promises? Why did this happen? We're living in a world that's been so traumatized by what's going on around us that we've just lost our center. And we're trying to decide whether this is still the only way. We've got to settle in. We're going to have to decide who it is that we're going to worship. Because if you're worshiping your own thoughts and your own ideas in the world around you, the crazy thing is that we're free to do it. And if you're waiting to understand God before you can trust him, you're torturing yourself. You're living in torment. And I promise you there are evil forces at work that you can't see, and they would be much obliged to give you all the evidence necessary for you to lose hope and for you to doubt the goodness of God. But if it's the goodness of God that's leading us to change the way we think, and it's the kindness of God that makes it to where all of us are going to have to do something before we leave these seats, we have to decide who we're going to serve. Because you've got a God. I just don't know if everybody here has made up their mind who that is. It's what I call Christian atheists. If you ask them, they would say, absolutely, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. There was some really scary talk around that very idea. There were people that would say that they believe in Jesus, and they were corrected in a way that said even demons believe in Jesus. So what is it that we're going to do with our belief to him and our surrender? Because his ways, like he said, I promise you only one thing. You're going to live forever, so you don't have any fear of death. That's pretty cool. Like, I love the fact that you can't kill me. I can't die. I'm going to live forever. Sin isn't separating me from God anymore, so I don't have to be ashamed of anything. I get to bring all of my dirty stuff to him. I get to bring other people into this conversation. But I can still be deceived. And what happens when I'm deceived is I believe something that's not true. And when I'm questioning God's goodness, then I'm just like Adam and Eve were when they had the perfect situation. They were one with God, and they still doubted his goodness. And because of those doubts, they chose another way, that we'd rather be smart. We don't need to trust in the God that we can become my own God. And so we've made gods of everything. That wasn't very graceful. But if you know anything about horses, and if you don't know anything, you don't do this with horses this quickly. Not in a traditional sense, because it's not something that I trained him to do. It's something that he's encountering that looks like a person, but it's something that he trusts. And when he doesn't trust, it doesn't change who I am. I don't punish him for doubting me. I continue to encourage him. I continue to believe in him even when he doesn't know how to believe in me, because he's just learning how to trust me.
I surrender. I surrender all to Thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender all. I surrender all. I surrender all to Thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender. Give it all to You, God. We fall down, we lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus. The greatness of His mercy and love at the feet of Jesus. We fall down and lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus. The greatness of His mercy and love at the feet of Jesus. And we cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy,
Jesus.
holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy.
Can we get the words to this song up?
We cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy. Is the Lamb. Is the Lamb. Is the Lamb slain for us? Is the Lamb wonderful Jesus? Is the Lamb.
I don't ever want him to feel like he's now my slave, that he's now my servant. I think there's something powerful about the fact that God presented himself to us as a servant so that we can know what it's like to be sons and daughters. And if you still see yourself as a servant of God, you're going to have a really hard time understanding the language I'm using around you being one of his. But if you understand what it's like to be a son or a daughter, then you're going to understand exactly how to serve. We've got to get things in proper order. If you still see yourself as a sinner that's just saved by grace, then you're calling yourself something that Jesus said that you're not anymore. If you are a sinner that needs to be saved by grace, then today's the day. If you're separated from God and you know that you're not walking in oneness with him, today's the day. But if you've already decided that Jesus is actually the way, undeserved, he decided we were worth it. Then I think we need to quit referring to ourselves as a bunch of sinners and worms that are saved by grace, that we're sons and daughters of God, that it actually hurts his heart for us to talk about ourselves that way. I remember the time that Tanner, my son that's with me, came to me and said, someone had said something cruel about him. And he asked me if it was true, and I realized I was in a really sacred moment with him, because somebody had tried to put an identity on him and a label on him that was going to scar him if I didn't handle it properly. And I was with all my heart, son, no, it's not true. And I'm really glad that he came to me to find out what is true. And if you're still sitting around talking about yourself as I'm just a sinner, I can't seem to win in these areas, I want to challenge you on that. Jesus calls you something different. It's not helpful for my son to see himself as just a failure, especially when he's failing. It's when he's failing that he needs to hear me as his father say, son, I believe in you. You're more than this. I believe in you. You've got this. Stay close to me. Let's do this. Let's fight this battle together. I don't agree with his insecurities. I don't agree with his lifestyle. I come alongside him in a way that he's got a father. Where do you think that came from? That was modeled to me by God himself. That, Todd, you're not a filthy man. You're not a selfish man. You're not a prideful man. You're just acting that way. Stay close to me. Let me help you out of that. Let me show you how to value yourself enough that you know how to value people around you. And you don't need them to tell you how worthy you are. If this is not the invitation of a lifetime, I don't know why it is that Jesus chose to die for us. Like, if it took that extreme, I don't know what else he could do to say that we're now without any excuse. That he would willingly lay down so that we don't have to. And then he doesn't partner with shame to get us to agree with him. It's just amazing. It's not the way people do it. We're feeling better about things. Did we get the words to that song? Were we able to do that? Oh, good job. Having tech guys. I used to make fun of you guys, by the way. Like, if someone was techie, I didn't mean that that wasn't a comment or a compliment. But I love you now. I think we should sing this together. Because there's a lot of things that Todd Pierce gets to do, but none of them get to define who I am. There's crowns that people give me. I get compliments. God wants me to get those. I'm never going to have a crown to throw at his feet if I don't have the crowns that people want to give me. I just know what to do with them when they give them to me. And every one of us have got things that we've placed our value in, and what it is that makes you feel good about yourself, what your identity is. And today we get to just have a fresh start and say that Maybe we missed this part. And this was the sacred part, that fathers want sons and daughters.
We fall down and we lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus. The greatness of mercy and love at the feet of Jesus. We fall down. We fall down and we lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus. Oh, the greatness of mercy and love at the feet of Jesus. And we cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy is the Lamb. Yes, He is. Oh, we cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy is the Lamb.
I don't think Jesus needs our affirmation. It does something for us because we become like what we worship. And if there's something worth worshiping, I say the King Jesus is worth worshiping. We still set our calendar to the day that he was born, so I think we ought to maybe stand up, and it'll help your mouths get freed up because I'm not hearing near enough. It's like we got to get our motors moving. You've been sitting really patiently, and I'm just watching as each of you are having your own encounter of this, and you're going to describe it differently, and everybody's going to have a different takeaway. But it's the only way we get it is we actually get to experience it. It's more than just knowledge. So let's sing this.
We fall down and we lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus. The greatness of the mercy and the love at the feet of Jesus. Say that again. We fall down and we lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus. The greatness of His mercy and love at the feet of Jesus. And we cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy. And we cry, holy, holy, holy is the Lamb. With saints and